What is good, everybody? Welcome back. Today I'm just gonna give a little bit of an input on the updates and everything that's really happened with the team. First off, I'm gonna say that Mike Kafka is gonna be our offensive coordinator, and Wink Martindale is gonna be our defensive coordinator. Two really strong pieces of our team that we need, especially for like say Daniel Jones comes back. Mike Kafka was such a big help, especially with his play calling. It probably one of our best play calls we've had in recent memory because he actually called things that weren't from the 1960s, like Jason Garrett did. But that other than that, because Shane Steichman and Jonathan Gannon were both hired. Gannon went to Arizona. I don't know how I really feel about that for the Cardinals, but I really could care less. If it hurts the Eagles, it hurts the Eagles. I'm happy, and Steichman hurts the Eagles. I'm happy. So I'm happy with that. We get to keep our guy Kafka, which I didn't really think that he was. I mean, I was concerned once Brian Flores got hired to the Vikings. I was like, okay, well, I don't think Anamaro from Cincinnati was going to get hired as the offensive coordinator for an offensive coordinator, head coach for the Arizona Cardinals. I thought he would be Kafka because what he did with the Giants, and people probably want something like that to happen with their team. Cardinals are a mess, but yeah, we get the Kafka after the Colts route on him after they got Steichman. Anyways, what I'm really making this video for is Isaiah Hodgins is back on the Giants, and I am happy about it because he's one of the players I like the most on this team. I think he's really a number two receiver on this team that could start for us next year. Maybe there'll be a little bit of a competition for that number two spot, but he's definitely a starting receiver on this team. Like we can either draft a receiver or we could either sign somebody or trade for one. But I think Isaiah Hodgins has earned his role to be a starter on this team. I think there's been guys in the league like Adam Thielen, for instance, where he was like a gunner on special teams, and he became he's well at one point he was one of the best, like a top 10 receiver in the NFL. So it doesn't really matter where you like what door you came from or what you came in from. It just matters it just matters that you're in. So Isaiah Hodgins, I think, could be a really good receiver, especially the chemistry of Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones hasn't really had he's guy of receivers. Really, one of his main guys is really Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton, we've known, is not reliable. Isaiah Hodgins displayed that in the playoffs, which we all know after I think he had like a 10 catch game for over 100 yards, something like that. I think he actually did have that and a touchdown. So we know that Daniel Jones trusts him, and he doesn't really drop the ball that much. I don't think I've ever really seen him drop the ball in my life, him being on the Giants that I know of. But I'm happy he's back, and it's not like it's an expensive deal because I'm actually a little surprised for what they paid him. I have the article here when I read how much he's getting paid. Let's see, here we go. So, all right, here we go. So Hodgins' production over the second half of the season was enough to earn a new deal with the team. He signed a 1 year, $870,000 deal on Thursday. Here's the transaction. We signed him back. Very good move for us, and yeah, like it says here, bearing a long term deal, he will be a restricted free agent next year. So I think Isaiah Hodgins is a guy that could give you anywhere between 600 to 800 yards a season, maybe even more, from what he's shown us this year, where he's played like 5 games as a starter. I don't know how accurately I am saying that. Maybe I think it was like 4, and he gave us like 370 and like 4 touchdowns. But he was really reliable. But I know against the Eagles that he didn't do anything. He did have a hurt ankle, not really an excuse. But also, he's going against 2 All-Pro corners. It's not like he's like an elite wide receiver. He's just a really solid player. I mean, Jacoby Myers is a really good player, but he's like just solid. He's not like insane, like not a superstar, but he's just a good player. That's just what Isaiah Hodgins is, and you need players like that. I mean, Akeem Hicks was a really, really good receiver, but it's not like he was like the superstar. He's just a really good player. It's not like you don't need. Sometimes you don't really need superstars. Like look at the Chiefs. It takes one, and then just have. I mean, they had a superstar tight end, but they just have a bunch of solid guys. Sometimes you don't really need. I mean, us maybe differently because we don't have Patrick Mahomes, but sometimes it shows that you really don't need an elite wide receiver. But we do have an elite running back if we bring him back. But one thing I also talk about is the amount of money Daniel Jones is getting talked about. It's kind of throwing me off because I don't know how true it really is. like this is what the media thinks. We're not like, or like the outside people, like other GMs, but it's not really what Joe Shane thinks and what Daniel Jones thinks he wants. So we're only hearing the outside noises. Well, maybe the deal look a little different than $35 million, which is kind of crazy. If you told me like last year Daniel Jones was going to get $35 million, the quarterback pay, like the quarterback fucking the quarterback pay is pretty crazy. I mean, 35 million for like middle of the pack deal. That's the one thing that who said it? Kyle Brett said it, where there's really is no middle of the pack type of contract. It's only like really high or really low. And if you're really low, you're a backup. If you're really high, you're probably like a top 20 quarterback. I don't really, like, my opinion, I want Daniel Jones to come back, and I don't want to lose him. So if this what it takes. But $35 million is a little crazy to me. And Saquon Barkley, 14 million. It's whatever. I mean, he's one of the best running backs in the NFL. But I saw something the other day where I don't want to lose him, but I saw something the other day where running backs pay for winning Super Bowls. They win Super Bowl teams, running backs. The highest one was like 1.8 million. I think it was LeGarrette Blount. So it just goes to show sometimes maybe it's not the most important position because it's kind of like a disposable position. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in for the video. I don't want to make it too long. Make sure to leave a like. Follow me on Twitter. I leave it in the description. We could, like, you guys have questions or whatever, we could talk there, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.